So you want to start Amazon FBA in 2024, but you aren't sure the best business model to start with, online arbitrage or wholesale. In this video, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of each so you can get started with your Amazon journey as soon as possible. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Miles. I'm a 25-year-old seven-figure Amazon seller on a mission to help as many of you guys as possible, but the side hustle or business of your dreams this year. Also want to let you guys know that I host free live Amazon trainings. The next one is coming up this Wednesday, February 7th, so make sure to get registered for that. Tons of beginner strategies as well as sourcing sauce we don't share anywhere else for free. Highly recommend getting registered for that. Let's jump into the OA versus wholesale breakdown. This is Amazon online arbitrage versus wholesale, everything you need to know for beginners. A little bit about myself just prior to hopping into it. I started selling on Amazon back in July of 2019 using the used book model. Eventually, I transitioned into online arbitrage. And in my first 45 days of online arbitrage, I did pretty much more than I had done the past previous 2 years of used books. We can see this is a tweet I had documenting my journey back in June of 2021. My first right about 50K revenue month, right around 10K in profit, which was life-changing at the time. If you really think your first 10K profit month is the first month to really give you a bunch of freedom. Kept growing that up over time. Tried doing a little bit of wholesale, got back into strictly doing OA in terms of that summer of 2021, and then ended up having almost a $500,000 month with over 80K in profit on right around 470K in rev total for December of 2022. So really know what I'm talking about in terms of selling Amazon with the arbitrage methods. So what exactly are online arbitrage and wholesale for beginners, right? So online arbitrage is buying products from big retail websites like Kohl's, Nike, and Target to flip on Amazon. So say I go on Walmart.com, find a product going for $10 on Walmart, it sells for $30 on Amazon, that leaves $8 in profit after shipping fees and everything like that. Wholesale is going directly to the manufacturers, brands, and distributors to buy products in bulk. So say I hit up like Neutrogena specifically. I think it'd be incredibly hard to get an account with Neutrogena, or I hit up Neutrogena and say, hey, can I have a list of your distributors, right? I hit up one of their distributors. We do all the legal requirements and such, right? I give them my paperwork. They send me a price list that has XYZ soap for $8 that goes for $20 on Amazon, that leaves $4.50 profit. And they have a minimum order quantity of 200, right? That would be an example of a wholesale purchase, right? The pros of online arbitrage is it takes much less capital to start, and there's no lead times, right? So sometimes with wholesale, you might have to wait a couple weeks or even a couple months after placing an order for the product to actually arrive from you. You can go on Kohl's and buy stuff today, right? Additionally, you don't need to do any cold calling or cold emailing, which a lot of beginners aren't comfortable with doing a bunch of that, which is how you're going to actually be able to get wholesale accounts open. There's less legal requirements required to do online arbitrage. Some suppliers, or most suppliers, are going to require certain paperwork and such. And it just overall takes a lot less time to get your first products, and that it's completely realistic to do wholesale and not find a product for a month. And a lot of people starting this need to make money quicker, at least need to see proof of concept quicker. And online arbitrage is great for that because you can literally go on Kohl's and buy stuff today in terms of getting going with that stuff. Some more online arbitrage pros and cons is like you don't have to do any cold outreach. There's no bulk orders or minimum order quantities, so it's less risky. It's really easy to burn a bunch of money with a wholesale order if they have, a $5,000 order minimum. Or if you have less money than that, it's really easy to do a bunch of wholesale outreach and then come across a supplier that has good products but has that really high minimum order quantity, which makes it, a lot more difficult to overall get the ball rolling, right? It's easier to test products too, just because you can buy less, which reduces risk. There's also the arbitrage of using a sales tax-free prep center, which is really advantageous, avoiding sales tax. Wholesale, no one pays sales tax because you use what's called a reseller certificate, so there's less advantage for getting that set up, right? It's way harder to procrastinate because the websites and blueprint are all right there. There's so many people that are so worried about like, oh, what about a website for wholesale? What about getting a special email, right? And then, there's no excuses to just get going with it today, pretty much. It's also cool with online arbitrage. You don't need to talk to anyone. So it's great for introverts that aren't interested in, really talking to people on the phone, negotiating, aren't comfortable with that and everything. The cons of online arbitrage are that order cancels are a drag. Some websites will ban you if you buy enough, right? Not many, but some will, right? So it can be difficult to get bulk product, right? It's harder to delegate to virtual assistants due to just complicated sourcing sauce going into it, right? Certain coupons or avoiding order cancels can be a little bit complicated, so it can be harder to delegate, right? Products are less replenishable as well, and if you aren't good, it's going to be difficult to find profitable prices, which is the same thing for wholesale and online arbitrage, but you got to understand, regardless of what business model you go into, it's a long-term process in terms of getting going with this stuff, right? Online arbitrage is also definitely less scalable long-term than wholesale, which is a little bit more of a real business after you've been in it for 6, 12, 18, 24 months and get really good at it. Wholesale pros are it's more scalable long-term due to no order limits, right? You can totally buy bulk products. That's not the bottleneck in terms of scaling. It's easier to build a team for because it's a lot more like spreadsheets and email templates compared to like, okay, this website has this discount and it's only on certain times. You're going to check this spreadsheet or check this email to get notified of this discount. You can get further discounts with suppliers and build relationships. So it's more of a relationship business model. So if you're more of an extrovert, wholesale is great, right? It's more stable if you do right, and it's a better option if you don't need to make money for a few months, or at least it's a comparable option. If you need to make money this month, it's going to be very difficult to be able to navigate wholesale correctly. Some wholesale cons are going to be many suppliers will require a commercial address, which is not feasible for beginners. On top of that, there's more legal requirements that go into it. You're probably going to have to hit up 100 to 300 suppliers to get your first orders in, and it's easy to put in a ton of upfront work to open accounts, cold call, cold email, just to find that they don't have any profitable prices and don't offer any additional discounts for beginners. Some more wholesale cons is going to be long lead times to get products to market. With OA, you can buy a product and have it in hand within 5 days and be FBAing it, selling it merchant build really, really quick. With wholesale, that doesn't really exist. There's typically more people involved and more supply chain involved. You also need much more capital to get started with. There's typically high MOQs, which are minimum order quantities. Lots of suppliers will automatically say no to Amazon sellers, so be ready for lots of rejection in your cold outreach. And anyone telling you it's easy for suppliers to send directly to Amazon is lying to you. Most of them are going to require you to have a commercial address to actually ship to. And then also wholesale products tend to be a lower average sale price, so it's harder to make the math work with the prep center as well. The summary is overall is just that wholesale is a buzzword that most think suggests more stable products, less competition, and better suppliers. However, OA is substantially easier to get started with, right? It's just not everything it's made out to be for beginners. It's very easy to get burned via bad products or shady suppliers. I'd recommend if a supplier is on Telegram, please stay away from them, right? It's easy to get burned with high order minimums as well. And that as a beginner, you're going to make mistakes, right? You don't know all the data as well. And overall, it's just a different skill set, right? Wholesale is going to be a lot of texting, cold calling, cold emailing suppliers, negotiating over prices. Meanwhile, OA is going to be more of just like sitting on websites at home, hanging out in your pajamas, buying products with your friends on Discord, sourcing through different sales and such. So it's a little bit more simple, right? OA is better for beginners, even if you plan on switching to wholesale fast. The cool thing is you can totally do both, right? You can totally do both. One of my friends does over 10 million in sales with a lot of OA and wholesale. Read a couple of my friends that I do like my podcast with have been really successful with wholesale, and I've always just mainly stuck to OA specifically. The next steps are going to be to check out my free Amazon course on my channel. It's going to give you everything you need to know to get going as quick as possible. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you have any questions, let me know down below. Make sure to subscribe for more. Check out my full free course right here, my full engaging tutorial right here. See you guys in the next one.